are live when you're ready, sir.
So, we call the meeting to order, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for Municipal Council workshop session of July 14, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Present.
Councilwoman Cotton. Okay. Councilman Davila.
Present.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Ames.
I'm present, Madam Clerk, but it's not showing on YouTube or channel 18 yet.
Okay, Mr. Ming is right here with me. Give me a second. Councilman Velez?
Yes, I'm here. Fine.
President?
Yes, here.
Okay. One second, Mr. President. Mr. Ming is here with me. Mr. Ming. Give me a second, please. It's not showing on YouTube. And it's not live on 77, you said, Madam Councilman?
32.
32 on YouTube. Okay, Ryan, Mr. Ming will check. I'm sorry, Mr. President. You didn't get to see this. I did it wrong. Statement. May I continue with the statement of compliance, Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Okay, yes, thank you. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law 2020 to 2021, meeting date July 14, time 6:30 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1. The annual notice of regular meetings and workshop session of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2020 to 2021 or about July 1, 2020. 2. A schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2020 to 2021 was duly transmitted on or about July 1, 2020 to the North Jersey Herald News, The Record, Arabic Voice, Italian Voice, the State County Calls, Dominicana News, Scale International, El Especial, the Paterson Press, the City Post News, Tap into Paterson, in addition to any other publications duly requested such notices. 3. A schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of Municipal Council for the year 2020 2021 was permanently posted in the lobby of City Hall first floor in the place reserved for the announcements of this type. 4. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of Municipal Council for the year 2020 to 2021 was duly filed with the municipal clerk. 5. A copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and paid the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Mr. President.
Yes, Madam. Can we continue with bills?
Can you repeat that, Mr. President?
Can we do the payment of bills at this time?
Okay. Next item is our payment of bills. Who is going to handle them?
I'll pay the bills. Thank you, Council President, Madam Clerk. Bills is $2,665,683.96. We have approximately $4.2 million in the computer checks, and we have a payroll of approximately $4.8 million. There's no solid waste payments and no payment to the school board. I motion the payment of bills in $10 million. There's two different ones, so I'll do this one first, and then I'll come back to the COVID. But this one is for the $10,965,683.96.
Is there a second, Mr. President?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Is there a second on the payment of bills? I didn't have a second. There's a motion motion on the floor for Councilman Mims. And I don't have a second.
Madam Clerk,
You're still not hearing me?
Councilman Delacies, I think seconded, maybe.
Okay.
Let me turn off my air conditioner, hold on.
Yeah, I'm turning off my air conditioner because I can't hear. It's kind of.
Do you want me to turn off my AC too?
Here, Councilman, you sound loud and clear.
All right, just in case.
Thank you. Okay, I turned mine off.
810.
Okay.
Do we have a second by Councilman Delacies? Yes.
Okay.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Yeah. Just a quick question, Council President. I know we went over the phone with the administration. When do the administration is trying to compensate or whatever it is with the name I forgot now, with the hazard care, it comes into the the essential workers supposed to get extra hazard, whatever it is, I forgot the name now. Council President, we had the conversation offline, and I asked him when is going to get those employees is going to get paid hazard compensation, whatever it is from the CARE Act.
Council President, can I?
Go ahead, Madam BA.
I will have to touch base with the mayor about your conversation. He hasn't relayed that to me at all, so maybe we can take it after that. But I will say that the county guidelines for hazard pay have been restricted to the individuals who were directly responding to the health component, the public health component of the crisis. So that is the regulation as provided by Treasury. But maybe this is something we could discuss further, so not tonight, because I don't know exactly.
Let me put it on the, Mr. Chairman, just for a minute, then you can continue. Let me put it on the table, Madam Lee. It's my understanding other city essential workers have been paid hazard care funding. And I believe any dispatcher out there, okay, any DPW workers, any individual that was there working, meanwhile the pandemic, was essential worker, they was responding to the needs of the community. So I don't know where's going to be the pitch to not pay them or not get them the benefit, but let's, if other cities have done it, and close from us too.
Councilman, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is a conversation. You already put your question, your concern on the floor. If they're entitled to that money, I'll join your efforts. But that's a conversation for another time with the administration.
Yeah, but the thing is that she should correct that this should only pay the individual that was directly responding to whatever she said. A lot of employees was essential, but it was on the phone. They was sitting in a.
Councilman, nobody's saying that you're incorrect. We just need to discuss that another time. At this time, we're going to discuss items that's on the bills list. If you mind.
All right.
But it's duly noted.
Thank you.
Any other comments on items on the bills list?
What was the name again? Hazard, right? Hazard pay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on items on the bills list? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for payment of bills in the amount of $10,955,683.96. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton? Sure, she's there. Councilman Jackson? I'm sorry, Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Sorry, thank you. Councilman Jackson, I don't think he's there. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Glass? Councilman Glass?
Oh, I say yes. Unless they're gonna pay twice.
Alrighty, Mr. President.
Yes.
I mean, you always make me laugh.
Elaine?
Supporting. 5 in favor, 2 absent, and let the record reflect that second and third ward is vacant. It's for payment of bills in the amount of $10,965,683.96 hereby adopted. And there's a second payment of bills, Mr. President?
Yes, second payment of bills are the COVID payments. These payments are just for the operating expenses. The receipt of the bills are attached to the payment of bills list. It was sent out to all the council members. It is in the amount of $19,378.72, and I move this item for approval.
Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Mr. President, can you give me one quick second, sir? Take this error. Hold on.
Mr. President, you need a second for that.
Second. Let me know when you're ready, Madam Clerk. It was moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Abdelaziz.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. Ryan is coming over to see you. Motion by Councilman Mims and second by Councilman Abdelaziz, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Question, Council President.
Discussion?
Council President, can the administration explain what is a sonic wall NSA, sonic wall secure upgrade plus? What is that?
Madam BA?
Actually, if Ryan is available, he can give you the specifics. That's one of the technology pieces for, I think that one was, Ryan, are you near a microphone? I think that was for the firewall, but.
You just walked in my office right now. Councilman, can you repeat the question?
My question is, can he explain, with this company, called Sonic Wall Secure Upgrade? Sonic Wall Secure Upgrade Plus.
Okay, so Ryan just stepped out. I'm going to grab him. Can you pull them all, please?
He's here right now.
Oh, I'm here. I'm in the council president's office. So that's the Sonic Wall upgrade. There's a firewall upgrade. It's a firewall. It's a device. It's a network device that we needed to increase the bandwidth to accommodate full access for all of our users that are working off-site.
Okay, is there any chance, Council President, the plexiglass or that we have in the council is named in this bills?
The plexiglass that was, Madam BA?
If there is a Benny's Glass one, that is the company that has been doing most of the plexiglass installments.
Okay,
So let me pull that up here.
yeah, on its way.
Because of the question, I don't know if that particular cost was for the council chambers, but I do know.
That's not in this bill list, Madam Chair.
It's not?
Not this week, Councilman.
Okay, March, is there any chance you have, can you give me a rough amount, how much have been spent on plexiglass to those cubic secretaries area?
If you give me a couple of minutes, I can look that up.
All right, you could email it to me for the next, we're not paying that today, right?
No, not today.
Okay, so you could give me that information later on? Because some people are getting BMW, they're getting Mercedes, and some people getting Toyota with smoking on it. So, I wanna be everybody in the same level.
Okay.
Thank you. Just put it in easy, be fair across the board.
Mr. President, I think you're on mute. Yes, I think you're okay now.
Yes, Madam Clerk. Council President? Yes. Before we go to roll call, just briefly, I think these discussions are good. I just wanted to put something on the record with payment of bills pertaining to that. We receive these payment bills on Fridays. I think it would be good practice for the entire council, including myself, to probably give the administration the questions between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, So we could probably get your questions answered because you don't want to vote on a payment of bill list without all the information. So I think, you know, you should probably send the question to the administration and have to receive it over the weekend. Just for efficiency and having all the information prior to any payment of bills. Duly noted, Councilman. We have made the suggestions many times. I think we just gotta put it to practice.
Thank you.
It's a good idea. At this time, Madam Clerk, I just want to everyone know that there is I would like to go to resolution number 30, given that we asked Tim Cunningham to join us last minute.
Council President, you need to vote.
Yes.
The payment.
Ryan, I was talking to Ryan, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you may get distracted. Okay, so then continue with the vote, the roll call and this payment of bills for the COVID?
Sure.
Okay, roll call and payment of bills, COVID-19 in the amount of $19,378.72. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton? Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Jackson? Councilman Mims?
Yes.
I think I see Councilman Jackson, right? Thank you. Councilman Rivera, I'm sorry, Councilman Velez? Councilman Velez?
Yes, proceed, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 4 in favor, 3 absent. Let the record reflect that Ward 2 and 3 vacant, therefore payment of bills in the amount of $19,378.72 hereby adopted. Mr. President, just bear with me 1 second. May I just, I'm sorry, I should have done this in the beginning. Let's repeat the number for the public portion.
Yes, you can repeat it, but
Okay.
let's probably portion in a little bit.
Yes, the public portion number, if anyone wishes to participate, is the number to call is 973-321-1579. And the ID code 711-680-0071. And I repeat the number. Number is 973-321-1579. ID code 711-680-0071. Thank you, Mr. President.
Madam Clerk, could we, do number 30 at this time?
Item number, oh, that's, you did the payment of it already.
Yes.
Okay, so we just did that. Which was the next item? Number, did you say number 30?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, Council President, I'm present now.
Oh, you're there, Council. Okay. So you would like to take number 30?
Yes, I'd like to take number 30 first.
Council President,
Councilwoman Davila?
I'd like to know why we received an agenda on Friday, which I went over, and I only have 29 items here for the paperwork. And I see now that an email was sent a few hours ago with 34 items, and I don't have the other items. So
Madam,
how can I make an informed decision without having the information in front of me?
we're not, Madam Clerk, we send Councilwoman Davila a copy of the agenda. And number 2, this is a workshop session.
Mr. President, I don't need a copy of the agenda. I just said that I received a few hours ago a copy of the agenda. I don't have the actual information in front of me.
So you don't have the resolutions either?
Correct. I have the agenda which was sent to me a few hours ago. As a matter of fact, I can tell you the time that it was sent. It was sent at 5:19.
So,
An additional 6 items which I don't have the paperwork for.
Madam Clerk, did we provide, how are we gonna do this? Did we send the resolution to Councilwoman Davila?
Yes,
Not just Councilwoman Davila, it's to everyone. It's not just about me.
Well, I have to ask you because I have mine. You have issue up. I don't know who else, if anybody else can get.
Well, the thing is that, Council President, the thing is that we have him because we're in the office, and we tell him to drop in the office, but give benefit to the councilwoman at large. she's at home. She didn't receive an update package at home.
Yes.
Council President, I was not in, I am home and I
Thank you very much, Councilman Douglas. Thank you.
I never stated, I never stated that she's wrong, Councilman. I'm just asking questions to see how we could, fix the situation. That's all I'm doing. So,
Let's get the sergeant. The sergeant at arm is going to say something.
Councilman Velez, Councilman Abdulaziz.
I have to agree with Councilwoman Davila. I do not have those either. I would recommend that if Madam Clerk could email those 6 items to us, until we get those items, and maybe do the other items first. It'll take 2 minutes for her to email, I hope, those 6 items. But I don't have them as council. I have the packet from Friday that only has 29 items. We were emailed, updated agenda at 5 o'clock today that shows 36. And I would recommend, Madam Clerk, when there's items like that, please email us. I know you're gonna say it's in our system or DocuWare. I don't know how that works here. Tech can't come to my house, but you guys could send us a PDF file.
I just want to put on the record what I stated often. This agenda for this workshop was allowed because we were not having, committee meetings. And also, there were some items that were added in a minute because there were some things that we actually discussed and voted on last Friday's special meeting. Doesn't justify that some of the council members don't have it. But going forward, I want to let the administration know that if something doesn't get to the agenda by the time specified, which is the week before, by Friday, it will not get on. So I just want to put it, if it's important to you and to the residents, it should be done by that Friday. Some of these items were put on because we voted on some of them on Friday, but we didn't have the benefit of the discussion because of the transition year budget that we'll be discussing. Madam Clerk, at this time, could we do?
Mr. President, can I explain quickly, sir?
Yes.
I know you said it, but I just wanted for clarification. Up to after 4:30, we were still adding items to the agenda, up to 4:30. So what Sophia did, the secretary, she uploaded everything to the tablets. We were not sure that not all the council members' tablets were working, but as we're speaking, the additional items, she's emailing them locally so they can have those additional ones that were added on. It was late afternoon today.
Council President.
Because I had department heads calling me for a copy of the agenda, but it was not completed because we were getting the items in the last minute. And we were trying to work, as you know, Mr. President, you were trying to work along with the clerk's office and the department heads to accommodate them since this was our first meeting and there was no committee meeting. So that's why a lot of these delays happened today.
Council President.
Councilman Velez.
I have to give credit to the secretaries that works in the office and also a Madam Clerk office. And often they send this memorandum every Thursday. Please, we need all the documents on Friday. There's a little bit of this consideration, knowing that our secretaries work in the office, hard to get items at the last minute when they want to go home also, and enjoy their family. And then sometimes they have to stay there. And not at the end, we end with something, some people receive it, others don't receive it. And I don't like and we all respect. We're going to create a culture of respect of documents, and you need to see this, and you need to see that, or you get it before, you need to review it. So the workshop, one of this day, is going to be gone, because if everything's going to be done before the workshop, then it's going to be for workshop. Now,
we're all saying the same thing.
Yes.
We're all saying the same thing. We're in agreement with what you're saying. So if you have anything additional to add.
Council President?
It's a rushing.
Council President, I received the information. I have the information now.
Okay.
It still doesn't justify because for example, I work, I know you work, and we don't want to kick the dead horse. All I'm going to say is what I said in the past. Going forward, things got to get done by Friday. If not, then I'm going to go on the agenda. So.
Council President, I only put it on record only because, I received this agenda at 5:19, all right, for a 6:30 meeting. So I can, from what I see, it's gonna be business as usual. So I hope that you do hold the administration accountable in terms of providing the information for us to be able to review and make an informed decision and not have to elongate our meetings to discuss things that we could, do an overview before. So, thank you.
So, at this time, Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. President.
we don't have, well, can we put on the record which are the items that were added last minute?
Okay. Item 40 through
The 14?
30 through 34.
Got it.
And number 30, that was coming from the special meeting which we had to, we did not have the required amount of the members, because that one was added lately, last, and then the others were the other ones that did, 31, 32, 33, 34, yes.
Got it. All right.
And
So,
there was some that was added late, I think, Monday. 27 through
so,
29, yes. So it was quite a bit.
so although I'm not happy with the situation, this is not the first time that this has passed. I mean, this has happened. It has happened many times in the past, and we still went ahead and discussed this item. That's why this is workshop. So, Madam Clerk, if you don't mind, I still want to put number 30, please.
Yes, sir. Our next item is item number 30 on the workshop.
Put it to the floor.
It's the resolution providing for the combination of certain issues of not to exceed $37 million general obligation bonds series 2020 of the city of Paterson, the county of Passaic, state of New Jersey, determine the form and other details of such bonds and provided by the sale of such bonds to the Passaic County Improvement Authority. And in parentheses, you have this resolution is superseding resolution 2356, which was on the special meeting on Friday. This is the next item. And this resolution next week is good for a vote. It requires 2/3 votes.
Council President,
Councilor Velez?
Madam Clerk, the question is to Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, when we had that special meeting,
Yes, sir.
when it was a special meeting,
Yes, sir.
what was the day that you announced that we're gonna take action on this, item 30? What was the official day that you announced that we were gonna take action?
No, it wasn't this one. It's number 1 was the one that was for first reading, and it will go on next week for second reading. But this item, number 30, we did not have enough council members present at that meeting. It requires 6 votes, and we did not have it.
Oh, okay, I know it's confusing, the $37 million is also on this one, is also on the other one.
Right.
So that's why it created a little bit confusion, and I don't know if Councilwoman Davila catch it too, because the $37 million was in the aspect of the visitor center, and now we have another one here for a bond for $37 million. I just was confusing.
I'm sorry, the visiting center, the guarantee was 38 million, not 37.
Correct.
All right.
All right. Bond, this one is a resolution. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, any other question pertaining to this matter? We have Tim Cunningham here, which is our bond counsel, to answer any questions pertaining to number 30.
Actually, Council President, it would be healthy that, as you invited Tim, to give us a synopsis or highlight, and then we can do the question, because I don't know why he's here today. I like to see him, but I don't, thank you.
Duly noted. I just thought you had questions since we voted on this last week, but.
We didn't even knew that he was gonna come in.
Correct. It's a plan. Tim, please.
Thank you. The Paterson City Council previously took action on numerous ordinances. There are various, probably about a dozen ordinances that fund park improvements, sewers, and general capital improvements. And over the years, the city council has moved these forward, and in some instances has already borrowed against them through notes through the Passaic County Improvement Authority. The County of Passaic has agreed to put their guarantee on the issuance, and this is unrelated to the Great Falls project. It's completely unrelated. These are municipal purpose ordinances. And the county has agreed to guarantee bonds issued through the Passaic County Improvement Authority. And with the rates that we've been seeing, the city could probably expect to borrow long-term somewhere around 2%, which is extraordinarily low borrowing. These ordinances have already been passed, as I said, by the council. They've already been in front of the local finance board for approval, and recently they were approved for the issuance of debt by the local finance board. So, council members, what I would say is that the heavy lifting on these ordinances has already been done by the Paterson City Council. You've already taken most of the necessary action. The resolution that's in front of council for consideration, as I understand, I guess at the meeting on the 21st, is a technical resolution that allows for these ordinances to be combined into one series or one issuance of bonds through the Passaic County Improvement Authority with the county's guarantee on top of it. And some of the particular details that are set forth in the resolution, it allows bond counsel, the city attorney, the chief financial officer of the city, corporation counsel to execute the necessary bond documents that would allow these ordinances to be funded. I do feel compelled to note, council members, that the city already has out through the Passaic County Improvement Authority probably about $23 million in notes. And those notes on these very same ordinances mature in August. And if we are unable to permanently finance these through the Improvement Authority, then we would have to go out and find alternative mechanisms in order to roll the existing notes that are out there. And I think that would be extraordinarily difficult to do at an interest rate that could anywhere compete with what's in front of the city at the moment. So I hope that's a synopsis that's helpful, but obviously I would welcome the chance to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions at this time?
Just one question for Tim. So I know that the great thing about going and partnering with the county is that our bond rating is like a BAA1, and theirs is much higher than ours. Do you know what the interest rate is at this time? Is it 3? Is it 4%? What is the bond interest rate?
Councilwoman, if this issuance proceeded through the Passaic County Improvement Authority with the Passaic County guarantee, the County of Passaic carries a AA+ rating. I imagine that would translate to somewhere around a 2% borrowing rate. The difference in trying to get a short-term note issued at the city of Paterson's rate, I'm not even sure we could find a buyer, and if we did, the interest rate, I don't want to posit a guess on what it would be, because it'd strictly be a guess, but for a rating of the city of Paterson, you'd be probably looking at certainly minimally 5% higher than borrowing through the county at AA+.
And just another point of reference, I see identified in the resolution, which I think is great too, for even our council and for viewers that are watching, that in the item, it lists out all of the items. So these are previous items, even from like 2017, that we've approved, like Overlook Park, sewer, emergency temporary safety and access improvements at, Allied Town. So, and it has the date for the police complex, the museum. So I like the way that it's outlined, all of the items and the ordinance numbers when it was adopted. And these are previously adopted. This is not anything that was just recently, adopted. So, I appreciate that when it comes to making sure that the ones that we understand what we're voting for, but definitely number two, that we get the lowest interest rate possible. So,
Council President.
on record.
Council President.
Yes.
Councilman Patterson.
Councilman Abdelaziz, and Councilwoman Gunn.
Thank you, Council President. So thank you, Tim, for giving us this analysis. This is, I believe, a common sense approach, right? You got one agency that's going to give you a certain percentage, and another agency that's going to give you a higher percentage, right? So, I mean, the discussion here is very simple. The PCIA does this in many municipalities. They have a better rate. For the viewers at home that have a mortgage, right? So if you're with one bank and they're charging you 5 or 6%, you find another bank that's giving you 2%, you go to the lower rate so your payments are lower. I don't know. I hope this is not an issue. This will save the taxpayers money. And I know there's a deadline, correct, Tim? If I'm wrong, that we can get this to the PCIA?
Yeah, Councilman, I think the biggest deadline to keep in mind is that the money that the city has already borrowed under these ordinances that is outstanding in temporary financing. So we issue two types of debt primarily. We issue notes, which are borrowings up to a year, and we issue permanent financing bonds, which depending on the use can be significantly longer, 20, 30 years. The deadline, Councilman, to answer your question is this. The city has already borrowed $23 million under these ordinances. Repayment of that note comes up in August. So if we're unable to complete the bond transaction, which this, again, I refer to as a technical resolution, is a component of that. If we're unable to take out that temporary financing through permanent bonds, we're going to have to figure out how that note is going to be repaid. So, Councilman, that's really the deadline. Is the fact that the bans are maturing in the August timeframe.
Council President.
Thank you, Tim. Councilwoman Khan and Councilman Velez.
Thank you, Council President. To, Tim, as Councilman Mims has stated that it was for, all this bond is for different projects that, and I see some of them go back to 2005, 2008, for projects that, and next to each amount, Tim, is a time, useful life, they call it, useful life.
Yes.
Say for example, I took the first one, it was 2000, I'm gonna take the easier one. In 2005, we bought 820,000. We had a 20-year life. Meaning we had 20 years to pay for that, correct?
What that means, Councilwoman, is that under the local bond law, you're permitted, depending on the type of improvement being funded, the local bond law sets forth the duration of how long bonds can be issued for. So assets that are going to last for a longer period of time, such as example, some of your park improvements, your sewers are a very good example. They are allowed to be bonded over, in your example, 20 years. So the payback on those bonds, and I think maybe going back to Councilman Abdelaziz's example, if we thought of this like a mortgage, the mortgage on a house, is typically 30 years, and that's how long you have to pay it back. These assets have long lives and will benefit the city for time to come. So the useful life column sets forth how long those bonds may be issued pursuant to local bond law.
Okay, so in other words, then I understand what you're saying. It's like depreciation, as I was saying. You do work in your house, you put a new roof on, it lasts 15 years, it lasts 20 years. So that's what this is saying, but I just want to say too that since the county has that AAA rating, They got the good credit. So really, they're like the signer for us, and we're like the second signer. As long as you are good at paying, then our credit ratings come up. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, the municipal credit rating, there's a couple rating agencies that assign ratings to municipalities in the state of New Jersey. And a lot of complex factors go into that, but obviously repayment of debt is going to be one of the key factors. And the city has timely paid its bonds and notes, and that's an obligation that I'm sure the state would would see through and require. But making sure that these notes get paid off and that debt service is made on the bonds is in fact imperative.
Right. All right. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Council President.
Councilman Velez?
I'm not too smart probably on credit score, but I don't think credit score will go higher if they know that we're using other horses to pay our debt. So, I have a simple question, and I did it, I made this question on the last meeting that we had when we was talking about this item. So there's a list here, and they say, for example, 18024, various capital improvement of HVAC improvement, Paterson Municipal Museum Complex, Police Headquarters, and I believe there was a legal matter on it. It was a court date mandate to fix the HVAC on the museum. Now, we passing the buck here to the county, and it's my understanding we haven't even complied with the court mandate to fix the museum. So, and for me, we're passing the buck and we're not completing what the court is saying to do. If I'm wrong, but that's one thing.
Councilman, if I could address questions one at a time, if you don't mind, just because I want to make sure that I don't get distracted and I follow your questions. These particular ordinances were previously approved by City Council. They were previously approved for issuance by the local finance board. In the case of Ordinance 18024, the city has, in fact, borrowed money against that particular ordinance to fund particular projects. So that is one of the ordinances that is within the outstanding bond anticipation notes. And I should, if I wasn't clear, and I do apologize, I should say that the county is lending its guarantee as a backstop to the issuance of these bonds. And that makes the sale of these bonds more attractive to institutional investors. The county, however, is not making debt service payments on these bonds. The city will be making the payments on the bonds. So it's really just that the county is extending its guarantee onto the issuance of the debt.
So in other words, they keep on borrowing, they keep on getting money, and they put a title for what is it, for what is it, for what is it. Now we're in this point, and the matter was not resolved yet. So when we go to revisit that, we say, okay, we already comply with the with the court mandate to fix this, to fix over there, to fix over there. And I recall every time they come to the council for approval for money, is with this view, we need to do it because the court says we have to do it. Now we hear that dealing with the bond, attracted to buy or whatever, but then the problem is not resolved. The problem is still there, persists. So next fiscal year, probably they're going to come back and say we need more money because they're going to sue us again because we need the money to fix the museum. Yeah.
Councilman, I think your time is, the 2 minutes are up.
Time is up?
Yeah, but just so you know, this is something that is done often. We have two choices. This is what we're doing. We already approved all this authorizations, bond ordinances. We have two options. We go to the market ourselves and pay. Tim, how much you think, and I know you wouldn't know what interest rate they would charge us, but given our bond rating and we haven't been in the market for a long time, it could mean a large amount of money that we would have to pick up. Am I correct?
You're correct, and again, I don't want to I don't want to ring the alarm bell, but I have to say, I don't know that I have confidence that we would find a buyer for the city's payments because it's a below investment grade rating. We could go out, the more risk there is, the more that the markets are going to crave that yield and increase the interest rates. As I said before, I don't want to posit a guess on what those increased borrowing costs would be, but they certainly would be significantly higher than borrowing with the county's AA plus.
So council members, this is what we have before. I just asked him to be here just to clarify certain things, but it's not like we have a lot of choices here. This is projects that we have already started work on. Some of them we already have done. We just gotta fund it. We gotta fund the ordinance that we approved. The two options that we have is we either thank the county for doing us this favor, right? And issuing this debt on our behalf, or do it ourselves. As Tim stated, we have not issued debt on our own in a long time. We don't even know, and you have the CFO here to reiterate what I'm saying, we don't even know if we be able to actually issue the bonds on our own, and if we issue them on our own, it's gonna cost the taxpayers of the city of Paterson a lot of money. You know, I just brought some over to clarify a few things because I want my colleagues to be well informed, but we don't have any other choice. Either the county issues them on our behalf, but we have to issue the debt. We already approved these things.
Council President, question. You said in finance, right? You said in finance. Tim, can you answer this question on March? How many times we have done this in the life I'm here, 4 years here? How many times we already have done this in the past? How many times?
So, the last time the city went to the bond market was in June of 2017.
2017. We did. How many times we went to the county with this?
Well, I think the city's been using the Passaic County Improvement Authority now for bond sales as well as note sales, bond anticipation note sales, for at least 7 or 8 years.
So in the past years, we've been doing it, and under this administration, how many times?
This administration, there was a note sale a year ago.
Okay.
So that's maturing. $22 million approximately is maturing on August 25th.
So last question. Do you think that if we don't pass this, will affect your transition to calendar year? It will affect it?
Let me just segregate the two. This is an authorization. It's basically a loan document that's required for closing the borrowing with the Passaic County Improvement Authority. It's packaging all of these ordinances into one package to say, this is how much we need to borrow, and this is what the collateral is for that debt that we're borrowing. So if we were not to approve this, this transaction with the Improvement Authority, as Council President stated, we would, and Tim Cunningham stated, we would have to go to the private market, something the city of Paterson has not done. Our bond rating is not good enough to do so, and it's such a short period of time, I don't even know how, even if we could go to the private market, well, it would only give us 4 weeks to do so. Finally, the impact that such an event would have with the bond rating community would be very negative for the city. Very, very negative.
Councilman Abdulaziz?
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, I think we've discussed this, right? And I think the council members have to make a decision on what's best fiscally for the residents of the city of Paterson. I just think that the residents and the taxpayers of the city, it's a common sense approach. We have many people that own homes and dealing with mortgages. You have an entity that has a low interest rate, they got a better credit score than us, right? Just put yourself in your shoes. If someone has a better credit score, they give you a better percentage. Or, like Mark said, you want to go out to the private industry and come back and get hit with like a 7% interest rate. And you don't need to be a financial guru or a CFO to understand the higher your interest payment is, the higher you owe, and the more you have to pay. That could be going to many vital services to our city, many vital programs to our city instead of giving it to interest in banks and bondholders. So, I mean, we discussed this, Council President, and I think it's very important that the taxpayers realize that this ordinance, or this resolution in front of us is giving us the best financial incentive for our city. And as Tim, we have the financial experts here, our CFO, explained to us, but me personally, I don't think you need to be a financial, not to disrespect our experts here, but, you know, millions of dollars in loans and a low percentage rate or go out, which we've never done before. It's just like you buying a house and you have no credit. Somebody's gonna come to you and say, hey, we'll take your loan, 25%. Just like when you go buy these new cars and everyone gets sucked in, I got the new car, but we got hit with a high percentage. So, Council President, I know you're discussing there. We've had a great discussion, and I would like to see, you know, that this council does what's best for the taxpayers of our great city. Thank you.
Sure. So, Councilman, you have something to add briefly?
No, I just, when things comes like this, you know, and they put some beautiful words up to the table, I love it, but I think somebody down the road, and time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell this looks wrong, but sometimes, you know, let's go with the expert in numbers here and mortgage and this and that. So, you know, this going to a vote next week. So hopefully, Tim, we don't get surprised down the road that we're going to be more on the whole than anything. But let's have faith, you know.
So, council members.
I know what we're doing here. I know what we're doing here. I know what we're doing here.
Councilman, please. I let you speak. All I'm going to say is, council members, everything, what this resolution has is everything that this council, even before it took office, have voted on. Attached to each ordinance that you guys have approved before I came on board, there is a supplemental debt statement that tells you what is our debt capacity. So we're not doing any new debt here. What we're doing is issuing what the council already authorized. That's what we're doing. I just want to let the public know that this is not something new. We already authorized this to take place. And this conversation, we should have never spent 30 minutes on this conversation. That's my opinion.
Council President, so why we have workshops?
Councilman Velez, you did not ask for the floor, first of all. So let's just, you know, let's just keep the decorum, please.
Council President.
We don't have no respect in this council.
Jackson?
So, Council President, and understanding that there is already an assumed responsibility of previous debt that may have been approved by this council, but we still don't know all the details of all the debt to the example that Councilman Velez has given. And one of the things that's concerning me about the current climate of what we're doing right now is that there's a notion to rush things along and shuffle things through. So we put a time limit, and Mr. Cunningham then interrupts Councilman Velez in the middle of his dialogue and says, well, look, I want to take on each question one at a time. So therefore, it was the next time over, you then stated to Councilman Velez that his time has now expired. So I'm sorry, just let me finish. Allow me a moment to finish. So when it comes to the matter of making sure that we're addressing the importance of some of these issues, the whole notion of rushing things along, we all took an oath and we get paid to be here. So not being thorough enough and allowing council members to express themselves fully and their concerns fully is a disservice within itself. But my concern with what we're doing, we're not even making sure that we're holding accountable on some of the things that we've bonded for. For example, Councilman Velez used a very good example. I also know that we bonded over $25 million, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the exact amount, for his stadium. And since when we drawn down on that debt, only in the amount of about $6 or $7 million to partially do some of the exterior. So along with this presentation, there should be a detailed list of what items that we have in fact voted to take care of, what items have been expended, and if they've been expended fully. If they haven't been expended, there's a need for an audit for items that's on the list that we're now getting ready to refinance, and with the lack of a better description. But if we're going to refinance these items at a different rate, yes.
Councilman, just so you know, I started a clock. I have a clock. Whenever someone gets interrupted, I stop the clock. I did that with Councilman Velez. Anytime I stop the clock. Yours, I started late. I let you probably speak 20 seconds, and then I started yours, and you're already at 2 minutes. That doesn't mean that you cannot exceed the 2 minutes. For you to say that, basically, you didn't spend 2 minutes speaking, that's not the case here.
I didn't say you didn't spend 2 minutes speaking.
So Councilman,
I'm trying
to run meeting here, and we're hitting a lot of topics that are not related to what we have in front of us. This is debt that was already issued, like I stated, that was already authorized by us. The majority of it was already issued, and that's the bottom line.
And the bottom line is my question is it was approved, but we don't know, has it been expended? Again, to the example of the $25 million that we bonded for the stadium, it was never fully expended.
So Councilman,
we know we have certain bond capacity.
Councilman, let's give an opportunity. You already stated that question. Let's give an opportunity to our CFO to address your question. Please.
Okay. Thank you, Council President. Councilman Jackson, I'm happy to send out tomorrow to the entire council all the ordinances that are included in this bond fund resolution to show what the balances are remaining and the status of those projects that were authorized in those ordinances. So, for example, to Councilman Velez's question regarding the museum and the municipal complex, that ordinance has about $1.6 million still unspent, meaning that the project has not been let yet, but the money is still there. The balance, the appropriation, not so much the money. We're funding that with this ordinance, with this resolution.
Could you please include in that list, and you can do it separately, but a complete list of the full bond capacity in which we have outstanding. So whatever's included in this list, compile it in one report, and whatever other outstanding items we have, please forward that to me as well.
All right, Councilman, at this time, so duly noted, Madam Sharon, please take a note of it. Madam Clerk, can we put this on regular for the next meeting?
Yes, Mr. President, I do.
Council President, I've got a question for you.
Councilman Velez.
You still in finance, right? You still in finance? All right.
Yes.
Can I get also, if it's possible, because I see in this bond description and option, I see a lot of parks improvement since 2005. Can you get me how much have been covered with CDBG money and still that money is still pending there?
Councilman,
Yeah, we haven't used it.
if it was covered with CDBG money, it would not be in this.
No, that's what I'm saying. Hold on. If we have a list and we have bonded money for park improvement, overlook, I recall, and you wasn't here, Councilman. You wasn't here.
Councilman.
Councilman. You wasn't here, Councilman. And either was.
Councilman, your request to be made anytime. You already put the request on the floor. It's not related to this ordinance because you're talking about CDBG money. Could we please move on? We already have.
Okay, but I don't know if you understand my question, all right?
I need to understand, you have.
No. But the question was for you, and you tell me if the question is valid. You sit in the finance chair, okay, a lot for the past 2 years, okay?
No,
Here, here says park improvement, park improvement, park improvement, okay? Now, for 4 years, I have heard and approved CDBG money for parks and fields. So I want to make sure that they still using the SKUs of park improvement and we covering all that improvement to CDBG money. I want to know, there's a list here. For example, Overlook Park. I want to know if they use grant funding to do Overlook Park too. And I want to know where they invested the $829,000.
So Councilman, you have a lot of valid questions, but if you understood the bond law, if you specify that money is for that project, then it needs to be used for that project. Now, if there's any money left, we could always cancel that authorization. Am I correct, Madam CFO?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's why I'm sorry, I'm changing my tone a little, Councilman, but this is things that the council's been doing for a long time, and you have some legitimate questions, but it's not related to what we have before us. Please,
Right.
this is what we have before us. You're a councilman, you have access to the CFO the whole week, the whole year. Could we please stick to what's, in front of us? And any other additional questions that you have some valid questions that we need to look into, but please do not during the week, because we can't spend 40 minutes on each item here,
I know, Councilman, Council President, with all due respect, I think this meeting was called workshop, not big chop.
All right, so Councilman, can we proceed, please?
That was inappropriate. That was very inappropriate.
Okay, here we got the Sergeant at Arms.
Councilman, if
Sergeant at Arms.
There has to be a forum.
Councilman, you continue doing this. We're not having this. We're
Don't
not
worry,
having this.
you're gonna need my vote, don't worry.
I don't need your vote.
Yes, you do.
You're gonna need your vote for what?
You need my vote.
No.
Point of order.
Yeah, point of order. There you go.
So Councilman, if you continue to do what you do, being disruptive, I'm gonna have to.
Why you gonna throw me out of the council?
I am gonna remove you from the meeting.
You didn't vote me into the chair, sir.
I'm gonna remove you from the meeting.
Okay, you could do that, so I'll sue you for removing from a workshop.
All right.
I think you need to learn your laws, man.
I'm going to continue to run this meeting. If you continue to interrupt me, I'm gonna remove you.
And I'm standing on the workshop rules.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir?
will we open the public portion at this time, please?
Yes, Mr. President. The public portion is now open, and I repeat the number. Anyone wishing to participate in the public portion, 973-321-1579, ID code 711-680-0071. And our first speaker is Mr. Lance Sloan. Mr. Sloan, can you hear us? Mr. President, give us a few minutes for Ryan to have him connected. Lance Sloan. Mr. Sloan, are you there? Give us a second, Council President. I think Ryan's trying to get him connected.
No, I was just gonna pass a statement. We need some decorum, we need to respect the public, and we cannot conduct city business the way we've been conducting city business for a long time. I'm gonna give everyone the same courtesy to speak, but if someone is getting, and is not helping for us to conduct the business of the city, then we need to do what we need to do, but we cannot have this continue to happen in this council.
Mr. Sloan, are you there, sir? I think I hear something. So President, hold on. Yeah, somebody's. Mr. Sloan, are you there? Mr. Sloan, we can hear you. Go ahead and speak. Mr. Sloan?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, sir, and
Yes.
please state your name and your address for the record. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Lance Sloan, 462 East 40th Street. I'd just like to mention 3 matters. I'm watching the council meetings as I normally do. As your people are discussing the bond ordinance, a lot of these questions I believe should be being addressed at your finance meetings. So when it comes time for a vote, all questions and documents are there. That's besides the point. My next item I'd like to discuss is 4th of July. I'd like to compliment the mayor and Jerry Spitziel for what they had tried to attempt to do, but I am a born and raised Patersonian. This is the worst 4th of July I have ever experienced. If I wanted bombs and bursting bare air, I would have stayed in the military. It was just unbearable. The city should have asked for possibly state police. Then again, I don't even know what the state police or National Guard could have done. But this has been the worst 4th of July that I've experienced in my 64 years living in the city of Paterson. And my last comment is, I got a robocall from our mayor that there's going to be recycling every Monday. How is this going to save us money? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. Mr. President, the next speaker is, thank you, sir. Mr. Ernest Rucker is our next speaker, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Mims, I think you may have to step in.
Yeah.
Up there.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, the next speaker is Mr. Rucker.
Hello?
Mr. Rucker, go ahead and place your name and your address for the record, and thank you so much for calling in.
Okay, thank you. Ernest Rucker Paterson. Tonight I'd like to start off with something very serious. We've had a rash of shootings in the city of Paterson night after night. And it's becoming a real issue, more of an issue than it has in previous years. But there are groups that are specialized, and those are kind of conflict type of resolutions, and we cannot police our way out of this. We are borrowing money for everything under the sun. We need to look at, if we have to take it from the police budget, the fire department's budget, wherever it must come from, to come up with the money necessary to fight this plague that has got our city in such an uproar. I've watched this shooting go on for quite a while. We've seen that policing does not stop it. We need to look at a new approach, and we have to seriously look at that approach. I believe that it's time that we stop playing with this and really get serious about reducing the type of shooting that's going on. These young men need to have conversations with the peers that they believe in and they trust to try to reduce the shooting. We have looked at, I think we used had a budget, a bond proposal of $37 million, things that have voted on in the past. And if we have to bond the money, if we have to reduce other budgets to get the money, we need to take that money, put it under one umbrella, such as the Department of Recreation, so that money can be dispersed into the streets to resolve some of this problems that's worked in other states and other cities. We need to do it here and now. And I'm going to be just as serious about this as I have been about the mail vote by fraud type of operations. We need to start moving now, and I'm looking to hear from our council members the dialogue necessary on this problem. We not really have heard much from council concerning